Welcome back, everybody, to the Gamecocks Dynasty as we continue SEC play here against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now, last week was a very disappointing outcome, to say the least. A very close loss relatively to the Georgia Bulldogs, a top-ranked team in the country. But unfortunately, the Gamecocks just couldn't get the job done. Whether you put it on the quarterback, on the defense, on the receiving core, just a lot of areas that you could blame for a lack of success last week, but they only lost by 10. Have another home game this week against the Commodores, and here we are. They get the ball first to start the day. Rattler is going to be under center for what is a very rare under center moment for this offense, and it actually is fairly successful. 5 yards on the carry by Lloyd, so now a 3rd and 9. Rattler out of the shotgun again, a much more traditional set, and man, he just sails that over the head of the wide open receiver, and that is an extremely disappointing outcome. Now on the first Commodores possession, they have a very effective running game, and Ramon Davis is going to show that off with a 16-yard rush there. And unfortunately for the Gamecocks defense, they've struggled to stop the run this year. So let's see if the Commodores take advantage. On a 1st and 10, right up the middle, and he fumbles it. Brad Johnson picks it up right before it can hit the ground, and this Gamecocks defense continues to give the offense opportunities, but on a 3rd and 12, Lloyd gets decked by his own lineman more than anything else, and they will settle for another punt right back to the Commodores. This time they don't give it to Davis. Instead, Wright wants to take off, and he is an extremely athletic quarterback back there under center for the Commodores, and he's going to get enough for about 12 yards and a 1st down as we follow them down the field. Now 3rd and 6, right out of the shotgun, firing downfield into coverage, intercepted. Darius Rush, 2nd turnover of the day for the Commodores. What a beautiful athletic play there by the Gamecocks, and this defense continues to get turnovers. Now Rattler on a 2nd and 6 finds his man Leggett, and they give him the 1st down. I didn't think he was anywhere close to it. Looked like he was falling backwards, honestly. But now on a 1st and 10, Lloyd's going to push a man, strong arm his way forward for about 12 yards. It went from about a 7-yard gain to maybe a 12-yard gain. And now they're going to go a little bit of trickery, and Xavier Leggett has nowhere to go. If he had cut it outside, maybe, just maybe, he gets a couple yards. But now on a 4th and 11 in no man's land, Rattler out of the shotgun, wants to throw downfield, no time to throw, sacked, and he loses 12 as the Commodores defense stands. And this Gamecocks offense hasn't been very good all season long so far, and today they struggle again to get going. Now on a 3rd and 13, Cam Smith tries to cut it underneath, but Quincy Skinner is going to get 13 yards. Thankfully, they call it a 4th and inches, so the Gamecocks get the ball back again. Can they do anything with it? You've got to think that defense is going to start getting tired. Rattler calling a bunch of audibles, wants to throw downfield, got a man wide open, and he overthrows him by about 20 yards. So now a 3rd and 20. Rattler's going to keep Lloyd in the backfield with him to block. He's going to roll out to the right, firing and into coverage. Dropped by the linebacker Ethan Barr, but the Commodores still have a very good opportunity here in plus territory. Now right under center, wants to throw, got a man wide open. The receiver, the tight end Kyle, fighting his way down to the 5, down to about the 7. Tyler Kyle, what a big catch and run there. Now 3rd and goal, right out of the center position, wants to throw to the end zone, and it's intercepted again. Darius Rush saving the day again in the end zone, and that, I believe, is the 3rd interception this season for this Gamecocks defense in the red zone. So they have been very productive in that part of the field, fortunately enough for this offense. 3rd and 1, trying to get a fake jet sweep, and they get it to Lloyd. Will he get there? They're going to give it to him. Another extremely generous spot for this Gamecocks offense. You've got to be able to take advantage of that. Rattler out of the shotgun, 2-back set, rolling around, wants to throw downfield, and time just runs out for him, and he loses a 9-yard sack there, and another 3rd and long. This one 3rd and 19. Rattler is going to bring Jaheim Bell on the left side, so we've got a bit of a stacked side there. Now 3 people on the left side, and he just slings this one about 12 yards deeper than anybody else. and the Gamecocks offense once again stalls out. So Mike Wright and the Commodores looking to get something going. Neither offense can get anything going. Darius Rush with his third pick of the day, down to the 5, touchdown. This time nobody's getting them. What a beautiful jump on that route, and the Commodores throw their second straight interception, their third of the first half. But this one goes for a touchdown, and on the next possession, Davis almost breaks free for a first down. Just not enough side or enough room on that sideline. So now a 2nd and 5. Rattler's going to go to Lloyd on the right side, trying to break into the open field. Does so effectively, and 13 yards later, this offense finally gets a first down. We've only had maybe 2 this entire half. Now 1st and 10. Rattler don't get sacked. Instead, he brings a beautiful pass right across the middle on the money to Amarion Brown, and now 1st and goal. Rattler wants to go to Lloyd right up the middle, got some space, had to cut it outside because of the man trying to break it up, and just a beautiful read from Marshawn Lloyd. So 2nd and goal now. Rattler wants to throw this time, rolling around again, back across his body to the end zone. Touchdown, touchdown, South Carolina. Antoine Wells Jr., the James Madison transfer, makes a beautiful grab here in the final minutes of this first half, as Mike Wright and company look to get going on this offensive side of the ball, and instead he gets lit up. Now 3rd and 3. Right under center again. This offense does not run a lot of shotgun plays, surprisingly to what I had expected. And this time Davis is going to break a tackle, rumble out of bounds, but just enough to get the first down. So the dream is still alive here. 1:17 remaining. The Commodores out of the shotgun, looking to go downfield. Wright fires at the last second, and it's almost caught. Devontae Reed had a chance at it, but he just would not go up to catch it. And instead, the Gamecocks take over around midfield. Now 2nd and 10. Wright finds a man, and it's Wells Jr. again. Or that's Rattler, excuse me. And maybe, just maybe, they can develop some type of relationship on a 2nd and 6. Rattler to the end zone. Intercepted. That was Wells Jr. again, and he has a chance to go all the way, but thankfully they're going to be able to bring him down as we go into the second half up 14-0. And a 2nd and 8 is where we join the Commodores. Right under center again. Wants to throw this time. Fires to the outside, and Will Shepard quickly pushed out of bounds by Darius Rush again. This game has not been that exciting, but you've got to be worried for this offensive unit. If they can't score against Vanderbilt, what are they going to do against the Aggies next week? And it's going to be a tough matchup. But thankfully, after that run, they're able to limit the damage there. Now 1st and 10 later on the same drive, right? With about a 2 tight end set, a lot of blocking on the field, but instead, he still gets sacked. Just no separation by the receivers, and they get a 3rd and 20. Trying to limit the yard gain here. Right under center, he's going to bring Davis out, so now he's all alone. Obviously going to throw it. Steps into the pocket, fires to an open man, and that is Logan Kyle. Another huge reception. This one for 35. He has 2 catches for 71 yards. I believe the last one was about 30 yards or so. And this is a very big moment for this offense. 3rd and 3, right on the option. Wants to pitch it, cuts it back. Nowhere to go, still breaking tackles and all of that just to get back to the line of scrimmage. So the Commodores settle for a field goal. A chance to maybe block it if you're a Gamecock player, but they get it up and they get it right through the middle of the uprights as the score is now 14-3. Rattler on the next possession is going to stick to Lloyd. They have been very productive on this ground game, and you've got to think they're going to stick to their guns after that late interception, and especially after the abysmal performance last week. Lloyd on a 3rd and 1, pushed back behind the line, stayed up. He actually had about a 6-yard gain, but instead he just barely gets the first down. 1st and 10 now, a little over 3 minutes remaining. Rattler brings a man in motion, wants to throw. This time he's got Lloyd in the flats. Lloyd trying to break to the outside, and he's just barely tripped up. Had an end zone there on the corner, and just barely couldn't get there. Now 3rd and 4, Rattler on the read option, wants to go to the end zone, but instead, keeping it himself, he does not get it. So Mitch Jeter did miss a few kicks last week and the week before. but thankfully he knocks this one down as the score is now 17-3. Less than a minute remaining in the third quarter. Right on a 3rd and 4 on the next Commodores possession. He is forced to sling that one out of bounds almost immediately. Just beautiful pressure and beautiful coverage by the Gamecocks. And now on a 2nd and 6, Marshawn Lloyd continues his strong day with a 10-yard run. I have been thoroughly surprised. Now we see Dakereon Joyner in at quarterback, and he's on the read option to the outside, to the 20, to the 15, 10, and down at about the 9-yard line, a 23-yard carry, and now 3rd and 6. Rattler out of the shotgun. He has Beal Smith beside him in the backfield, rolling around, wants to throw to the end zone, nowhere to go, fires to Jaheim Bell. And on a 4th and 4 after that 2-yard catch, this Gamecocks offense is still on the field. Joyner out of the shotgun, throws, and it's almost caught off the deflection. Joyner was back there to get a little bit of pressure on the run game, but instead they don't get the score that they need. And Ramon Davis trying to get the Commodores out of a tough spot here. They've got to go about 90 yards just to score here. 3rd and 11. Right out of the shotgun, calling a man to stay in the block, throws across the middle, and it's another one. Man, that is very big for this Commodores offense. That's the second time this half the Gamecocks defense has got them to a 3rd and long and just could not stop them. Now another opportunity, 3rd and 10. Right, this time it's a screenplay to Davis. Davis rushing to the outside, brought down. Beautiful play by the big-time star, Darius Rush, as he continues to surprise everyone today. Now 1st and 10, Leggett on the jet sweep. Had a little bit of success last week against Georgia with that, but so far this week it has not broken free. And now 3rd and 6. Rattler out of the shotgun. He's got Lloyd sitting beside him as always, pretty much. 240 and counting, below that in the quarter. So Rattler's going to send Stogner in motion, get a little bit of a spread out there. Now 3rd and 6, they're going to snap it, play action, and he's tripped up by Marshawn Lloyd. He's going to lose 6 yards, and the Commodores' hopes are still alive. 1:50 remaining. Mike Wright out of the shotgun. You've got to think they're going to start slinging it, and they do just that. They've got it to Schoenwald this time for about a 27-yard catch. This defense has got to make a big play here. We've been watching them make plays all day long, but with a hurry-up offense, it's going to be hard to get set. Mike Wright, 1st and 10, stepping into the pocket, under pressure. Instead, he makes a beautiful pass to Gavin Schoenwald. Again, 30 yards there. Later on that drive, 1st and 10. Right out of the shotgun, calling a man to come over a little bit. Takes the snap. All alone back there, under pressure, throws to the end zone, almost intercepted. Man, oh man, Marcellus Dial. If that had been Darius Rush, that would have been his 4th of the day. Man, that would have been crazy. But Mike Wright instead on the next play settles for the under route, and Hutch Baird gets about 11 yards. A nice play by the tight end there, and now all alone in the backfield again. 3rd and goal, 4 down territory, to the end zone, and it's caught. Will Shepard, the reliable veteran receiver, and just a very big play there, but the Commodores' onside kick would not be recovered. And the Gamecocks hold on to win 17-10 here in Williams-Brice Stadium. Unfortunately, not the greatest showing by this Gamecock team. And there's a lot of worrying parts of this offense as we head into a tougher matchup. But another SEC matchup next week against the Aggies. Let's get into the post-game summary. Well, another week, another disappointing, but you can't complain because you won at the end of the day. Spencer Rattler, 16 of 24, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not even really consider that a good performance, but it was manageable enough. He barely got over the 100-yard mark. He struggled multiple times to find his receivers, even if they were wide open, and Rattler has just not looked the greatest to start the season. On top of that, the running game was good. Marshawn Lloyd, 21 for 99. Unfortunately, he finally lost his streak of touchdowns here in week 3. Spencer Rattler finished the day 7 for -39 because, sacks count. And he got sacked a lot and for a lot of yards. Xavier Leggett had a couple attempts. Christian Bill Smith as well. Obviously, Dakereon Joyner is kind of a guy that I threw in there at the last second there because I wanted to see what he could do, and you probably will be seeing more of that in the offense going forward. Antoine Wells Jr., 4 for 39. Marshawn Lloyd, 4 for 29. Outside of that, nothing spectacular. In the receiving game, we allowed 3 sacks total. Defensively, Brad Johnson, a great linebacker there, 11 total tackles, 1 for loss, no interceptions or anything. Cam Smith had 7 tackles as well, 2 of which were for a loss. Jordan Birch, 3 tackles for loss, 3 of them were sacks, obviously. Darius Rush with the 3 interceptions, obviously bringing 1 back for a touchdown. Just a beautiful game by Darius Rush. He was everywhere on the field, and Mitch Jeter, 1 of 2. I don't believe you saw the other field goal attempt. It was kind of a not really an important attempt there later in that fourth quarter. But if this is any indication, next week is going to be a very tough matchup. We got 3 interceptions, forced a fumble, and we only scored 17 points. Right now, this offense sits pretty low on the totem pole. Spencer Rattler 17th for total yards, but 44 for 77, 448 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, about 150 yards per game. Just is not going to cut it as far as, winning against actual SEC opponents. If you look at our total passing yards, we're pretty low down here. For an SEC school, we are pretty doggone low, but Georgia's right above us. If you look at our rushing yards, we're very low. We're pretty much middle of the pack on both of these. Closer a little bit to the top, but still middle of the pack. So as of right now, our defense has been the strong suit, or the strong part of this roster, and there's no doubt about that. This defense has been amazing. It's very shocking to see because, man, we have played a tough Georgia team, and now we play a tough Texas A&M team next episode. But before we get into that game, we've got to go to the game of the week. We have a Texas A&M matchup. We saw them in week 1 when they took on the Georgia Bulldogs. Now we get to see them here in week 3 when they take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's right. We've got a number 1, number 12 matchup. The Aggies sit at 1-1. Let's see where this matchup ends up. Alabama is going to take it. Texas A&M falls to 1-2 on the season. Alabama finishes the game 22-14. A beautiful game by the Crimson Tide. They didn't make it a little interesting, but the Crimson Tide were able to pull out of that one. On top of that, we have a couple other matchups I'd like to check out. We've got a Tennessee-Oregon game. That's 9-21, or number 9 versus number 21. A nationally broadcast game, and the Volunteers embarrass the Ducks 34-7. Hendon Hooker puts together a magnificent performance, 3 touchdowns in the first half, and a 9-yard touchdown run in that second half. Bo Nix scored the only touchdown for the Ducks there late in that fourth quarter. And outside of that, not really any interesting matchups. If you're interested in the Louisville-Kentucky rivalry, this game is going to be an interesting one. And Louisville upsets the Wildcats. Look at that. Very big game for the Cardinals as they get that 35-32 win. Outside of that, nothing too crazy here. Auburn, Mississippi State, another SEC matchup, and I guess we'll simulate that one just to see as the Bulldogs pull that one out. They were expected to win, and they pretty much won by 15. They dominated pretty much, so just a good game by them. Oh, we do have an ACC matchup, Clemson-Miami. Can the Tigers be taken down here early in the season and they get embarrassed? 52-14. Wow, the Hurricanes took advantage of that game from Clemson, and man, Miami puts up 21 unanswered in the first half. Clemson comes out and answers to make it 21-7, and after that, Miami another touchdown. Clemson did score in the fourth, and then after that, it was 3 touchdowns from the 8-minute 50 mark in that fourth quarter to the final 4 seconds. The Miami Hurricanes scored 3 touchdowns. Man, what a game by the Hurricanes. They have basically taken the top of the ACC right there, and I would not be surprised if the Tigers fall off after that one. So far, though, the Heisman watch, we've got Ernest Crownover, J.C. Latham, Sonny Styles, Blake Corum, and Jawar Jordan. This is a lot of... usually it takes a couple weeks for the actual Heisman contenders to get in there, so thankfully those guys probably aren't going to be the final people on the or on that Heisman ballot. But here we are, taking on Texas A&M next week, which will be a probably 18th ranked, maybe 20th ranked team in the country. Still extremely talented. Obviously, losing to Alabama doesn't mean you're a bad team, so very nervous about this game. This one could be basically the do or die for this season, depending on how we or the opponents we have going forward. And I thank you guys for joining me for this week's episode. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you always stay up to date with this series. And I'll catch you guys next week when we take on the number 12 Texas A&M Aggies.